How's it going, everyone? My name is Sebastian. Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about how you can get a job. I'm going to try to give you some tips on how, if you're just maybe going into junior year of high school, maybe if you're later, maybe if you're a little earlier, maybe once you just turned 16. Let's just put it that way. If you just turned 16 and you want to get a job, I'm going to give you some tips on how I got a job. Now, first I want to give you a little backstory of my efforts to get a job. When I was about 16, I was probably about 5 months into my 16th year. That sounds like some Harry Potter stuff. Anyways, I was 5 months into my 16th year. It was around summer. And I went around applying to absolutely every single place just around my house, just around where I live. I applied to like 8 different places. The one that stood out the most was Firehouse Subs, and the reason I went there is because that's where both my older brothers went. One of my brothers actually has already graduated college. The other's in his senior year of college. But when they were both in high school, they got their first jobs there at Firehouse Subs, and they were working there for so long they really earned themselves a good reputation. And they actually told my brothers that when I became old enough, I should go ahead and apply there. Anyways, what ended up happening is I did that, and they didn't respond to me for like 3 months. And they didn't respond to me. I went into the store and asked them about my application. They said, "Oh, we've got some openings. We'll contact you soon." And they still didn't contact me. I went in there again, and they said, "Oh, go try out this store on another, in another part of where I live, which is Greenville, South Carolina." They asked me to look in another area, another Firehouse Subs nearby. And so what I did that. I went to another store, and I applied there, and they didn't respond to me for about 2 weeks. About the same time I applied to that second store, I also applied to a Subway. Actually the very next day, Subway called me back, and they gave me the job right after that interview. And I'll get into some interviewing tips in just a second. But yeah, so right after the interview at Subway, he gave me the job, and I was actually starting. I had the interview on a Tuesday, and then that Saturday was my first shift. And I know it's just Subway, I know, but everyone's got to start somewhere. Anyways, so I started working on a Subway that Saturday, and it wasn't till about 3 weeks after I started working that this second Firehouse Subs shop called me back and told me that they'd like to interview me, just for an interview. That took 3 weeks past the date I started working. And I was nice to them, and I thanked them for their offer, but I told them I was working, obviously. That's just sort of like a base layer that you can just sort of have an idea of the struggles I had trying to find a job. And really that whole process from when I started actually applying to when I actually got a job was about 7 months. It was 7 months. It felt like forever, just because I wanted a job really bad. It felt like forever. My interview at Subway, what they were really looking for, they really needed to hire. So what they were looking for is someone that was available when they needed them, and someone that would, be reliable. They have a reliable source of transportation. So if you want to get a job, you definitely need those things. You need to be available. You can't be playing sports every single day after school. You can't have some club during a night shift, because it's understandable why you won't be able to work in the morning, because you have school. But you have to keep your afternoon open. If you don't have an open afternoon, I guess you just can't get a job. Or you can get a job and only work on certain nights when you are available. Also, you need a reliable source of transportation. So either if you have your license or... there's an alarm. So if you have your license, or if your parents can drive you, you have to make sure that you always have a reliable source of transportation, and it's always going to be on that day that you have to go to work. And honestly, those are the 2 most important things to have when going to get a job. Now, they might also ask you what experience you have. Of course, that's not really what they're going to base it on. I personally have done volunteer work, volunteer classwork, which is I was an aide to a teacher. I've done that I did that for 3 years before I applied, and that's what I told them. I mean, if you have any volunteer work that you think could be useful to your application, that might boost your chances of getting accepted, definitely mention that. Going into an interview, you can only act as confident as you can, which I suggest. Just don't try to act like, a smart person. Don't try to act smart. If you just try to be yourself the best you can. Really, in any situation in life, you should always just sort of be yourself. And if you eventually get the job, the way you can keep it is just by working hard, doing exactly what you were told to do. If you make mistakes, it's either something they didn't teach you yet, or it's actually your fault. In that case, you always gotta apologize for what you did. Don't whine or cry about it, but apologize for what you did and ask to be corrected. If you're a good worker, if you work well, you're gonna keep your job, and you're gonna maybe even make friends with some of the people you work with. I've actually made friends with most of the people I work with, which is actually pretty awesome. So that just about wraps it up, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to check out my other videos, and until next time, I'll see you later. Bye.